Welcome, Magnus here, and today I'm going to talk about pretty much what the title says and what it says above me. My gear broke. If you're new to this channel, I like to do entertaining videos about cameras. I introduced a new character this season called Mikey, and of course, both parts are played by me. So if you've been sticking around and watching those episodes, they're pretty entertaining. If you haven't seen me for a while, then I would definitely recommend checking out my last couple of videos because they have been fun to do. And if you can see my screen right here, this is me actually setting up to do the latest episode, and I just had it played in the background. I had like the gear set up and wanting to pretty much set up everything and show what I look like trying to record myself. I have this and then another shot available, but I'm going to pretty much talk to you over here. That's just a distraction on the side. But I did want to show this to you guys because this is kind of where it started. I was recording and acting as my character in this scene when I realized one piece of equipment broke. And that piece of equipment broke, and I was pretty much like, I didn't even know that it was broken until I looked at it and tried to use it because I was doing a camera comparison with three cameras, the NX1 5D Mark IV and the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. So before I get started with what happened there, let me take this back to pretty much the point of this, and it's the fact that gear breaks. Gear breaks if you're using it. My principle and the way I try to think about that is that when you own expensive DSLR mirrorless cameras and all this expensive equipment, by the way, if I don't sound too clear, I apologize. I tried to get this microphone right here working, and it was causing a heck of a lot of interference in this new set. So until I get that thing specialized, fixed, and taken care of, I'm just going to use my computer microphone for now. And I've got another stream following this on my gaming channel if you want to check that out. That's on Personal Magnus. But I'm starting off with this channel and going through my experience. Hey, what's going on, Silra Tech? Nice to see you here watching. And or NAB, WPPI, well, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I definitely do plan on going on to NAB this year, if that's what you're asking. But getting back to my point, what's up? What's going on? Robbie Sanders Jr. as well. Thank you for joining me. So back to this story. My theory and my feeling when it comes to gear, especially when you use it and how it acts with you, is basically if you have a camera or DSLR mirrorless that looks pristine, perfect, and you kept it on a shelf in a box, barely touched it, and then after a couple years you're selling it as new or like new, then in my opinion, that camera, why'd you buy it? When a camera goes through its paces, I mean, as careful as you can possibly be, and I try to be as careful as possible with my cameras, they're going to get dinged, they're going to get bumps, bruises, and unfortunately in this case, for this video, I'm going to tell you which camera broke, but first, let me start you off with the very first story of a camera that broke, but that I'm using right now to do this live stream, and that's the 5D Mark IV. I did a video somewhat last year talking about how that camera broke on me, and that's because I had it on the the Gorilla Pods that you see a lot of vloggers vlog with and everything like that. I had it on one of those, and I put it on a kind of like a windowsill of a business because I wanted to get a separate creative angle while I was reviewing the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. And while reviewing it and actually talking to my coworker and trying to get things set up, the camera, because of the weight of the 5D Mark IV, it just, boom, hit the ground hard. Now the 5D Mark IV, believe it or not, was still able to record fine, but the microphone jack completely busted, just completely busted. That hurt. That really hurt. Um, Upgrading to the R5. R5. I'm looking forward to that. My last video was actually on the upgrade to the R5. I don't know if you saw it, but that hurt. But thankfully I sent it to Canon. And I joined the Canon CPS program, which is a great program. It's Canon Professional Services that lets you um, basically add up all your Canon gear, and if you get enough points, you could join their membership program, and then they give you discounts on repairs, they give you special treatment, and they turn around the repairs pretty quickly. They turned around my camera repair within like 24 hours, which was amazing. So that was the first breaking story. But the next thing that broke on me, and that was only some time later, probably like 6 months later after my 5D Mark IV broke. I'm going to pull it right now, and it was actually in the preview of, or the thumbnail to this video. And it's this. Oops, let me make sure you can see it. Okay. This is the Canon 24 to 70 f2.8 USM2 lens. It's an amazing lens. Thankfully, as I show you, the glass did not break at all. So the glass in itself, let me cover my face so it can focus. The glass is just fine. All the internals are just fine on this lens. So what's broken? Well, let's look at the back of this thing. So even the connectors are just fine. So don't get me wrong. See, connectors just fine. What is the problem is that when you mount it, now I'm gonna grab my Canon 6D because I'm using a 5D Mark IV now. So grab the Canon 6D, and yeah, this lens is definitely a must-have. It's an amazing lens. As I mount it, right, it looks fine, right? But what you won't see is that there's a little kind of shake. Let me see if I could actually get this to view it. I gotta get too close. That's too dark. Look, you have it. It's a little loose right where the numbers are here, and it kind of falls limp a little bit. That problem is just enough. See, I thought I could hold it. I thought I could hold it up and just kind of like, all right, maybe I could hang on to this lens for a little longer. But it causes vignetting no matter what I do. There's vignetting because even the slightest micrometer off on your lens, and you're pretty much screwed. So from that case, it's done. And I didn't even notice that it happened. I always hold my lens like this, two hands. But probably enough times to where I didn't, and maybe when the 5D smashed a few times, it had this lens on it. Now the 5D Mark IV and this lens are built like tanks to not bust, but it did. So it hurts because this lens I would use for everything, from live streams to any events that I want to take photos of, to plenty of video, because I'm a video guy. So even when the first time I really noticed it too was when I was live streaming, believe it or not, and for some reason most of me was out of focus. There was like a little part that was in, but the rest was out of focus, and it didn't look right. And I haven't used the lens since. So that was not nice. But moving on to the most recent breaking event, and that is the other item that I had in the thumbnail. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. This quickly turned, after a lot of time, to one of, if not my favorite cameras to do anything with. Sure, it's very limited when it comes to battery life, no continuous autofocus, no image stabilization. You have a 4/3 sensor, so it's smaller. Huge files, so you gotta work with them. But all of that aside, all I'm ever after It's an amazing image, and I'll put in the work for that amazing image. And this thing never failed. And even if I got my settings wrong, because I was recording in Blackmagic RAW, it was amazing. So, couple of things happened to this camera that caused the breakage. First, I was filming an episode for this very show, and I was doing kind of like a travel sequence where I'm moving. So I'm moving with my camera and everything, just going from one room to another. And I had this on a light tripod. It wasn't weighted, and I had it outside. And this very light, cheap tripod, because again, I was moving all my stuff, just tipped over the camera as recording, and it fell right on the ports. Now, one of the ports that it landed on was being used because I had a USB-C Samsung T5 hard drive right here. Using a Samsung T5 hard drive, recording to it, and it fell right on the cable of the hard drive, popped out the USB-C connection, and that hurt. But it still was able to record to SD card, and everything else on the camera worked just fine. So I said, you know what? I will send that into Blackmagic, but I've got a couple of things to film, so I'm not going to send it in right away. Fast forward to when I'm recording this video right next to me. I go to do the camera comparison because I wanted to compare dynamic range between this, the 5D, no, not the 5D Mark IV, this, the GH5, and the Samsung NX1. So I'm about to shoot my second shot, which was right after this, because this footage is from the NX1 in H.265. That's why I'm shooting in front of a window. Hit the on switch, doesn't turn on. I'm thinking battery's probably dead. So I take out the battery, because you know that happens too often. And I've got tons of batteries laying in my camera bag, so I just pulled out another one. Popped it in. Not turning on. I'm like, what the heck? Did I not charge my batteries? Popped in a third one. Didn't work. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to get the plug and plug it right in and just operate it that way. Turn it on. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That was the moment of panic. So I breathing heavy, panicking, wondering what's going on. I put it to my ear. I could hear like a slight buzz. Bzzz. And I'm like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, come on, come on, come on, turn on. Nothing. And I can't even connect it to USB-C to try something out. I called Blackmagic support and I gotta send it in. So that's 2 camera items that I gotta send in. And it was hurtful. But there's a point that I want to express to you guys, every one of you guys who follows me, the people watching right now, and again, I'm very glad that you're here. It's as professionals, as hobbyists, as a person who just buys their first camera, how we react in that moment when some point of our emotions take over after one of our things breaks. That's so important. Each time something broke, internally, I'm screaming. I'm like losing my mind. Ugh. Even now, this Blackmagic camera incident just happened. The second one just happened yesterday. This lens is a $1,600 lens that I paid full price for. I didn't pick it up used. The 5D Mark IV, I bought it for $3,500, and to see it smash on the floor. Everything matters. Happy Friday. Everything matters. And at that point, you just think, oh my gosh, this cost me so much money. Right? Especially if you are really starting to dig into this world. And that's why, and I'm putting, fine, there's repair services, there's insurance that you can get, but that feeling of knowing that something's smashed, because you know you even won't have it for a couple days, it's something that I would like to express emotionally how that feels. That hurts, but it's our choice on how to react to it. We could get angry and just start screaming. We can lose our minds, and it's not the same. It's hard for to control your feelings, especially those with like you know mental disorders, or if you've got some concerns with your mental health, and then this happens, and especially if you're in front of people in a creative job and something like that happens, as much as you can, try to keep in mind, first of all, breathe when that happens, but try to keep in mind that the emotions are yours to feel and to hopefully, within the best of your ability, control. Because no one has the right to choose how you feel more than you. During these moments, I chose to breathe, to think it's just equipment. That costs a lot of money, but it's just equipment. And it's not, it hurts, but it's not, we can't do anything about it. So losing our patience, losing you know, our ability to think straight, and probably taking it out on everybody around us does nothing to bring the cameras or the equipment back. It just, maybe it does something for you, helps you release that stress. Again, it's choose how you want to react, but the decision of how you react is up to you. But remember, it's within your control. And if you can handle it with professionalism and calmness, especially when you're around clients, it eventually turns around and helps you. It helped me in the sense of one of the times I was around a client, the time that I dropped the 5D, but the other two times I was by myself. But each time you feel the same. But I chose to take a deep breath, be calm, hope that I'm prepared. I'm better prepared now to at least fix this lens. And the Black Magic, I didn't have any service membership program to them, but I have no problem sending it back because thankfully I'm far enough away from anything else that I've got scheduled so that I don't lose too many opportunities. But all in all, it's up to you to control how you react. I've had to postpone. For example, like I said, I was filming this stuff right here for another episode this week because this weekend I was going to be away. So because I'm really busy with items that have taken up my schedule this weekend, and I wanted to upload something real fast, and I couldn't get this done, I'm live streaming to you guys. There's always a way to work around. And hopefully I will finish this episode at a later date or refilm it. But I'll finish that episode once I get my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K back, and I'll be happy that it's good as new, and I'm going to fix this lens soon enough, the 24-70, and that'll be great. So there's always a choice that we can make. Now, like I mentioned before, definitely call Blackmagic if you own a Blackmagic camera and something's going on. Their service was very helpful, very quick to diagnose what was wrong. I knew what was wrong. I dropped it, and then the defect of it not turning on is probably might be related to that. I don't know. And then joining a program, whether it's Nikon, Sony's, Canon, they all have programs for professionals. If you own enough of their equipment, you can join their services. There's a fee for like the gold membership in Canon, which is what I had, but it's paying for itself. So I'm pretty glad that I actually prepared this time. But that's what to do. Now, I don't have much more to say besides that. I put out a survey on my channel too to see what type of content you guys wanted to see more of. Whether it's the comedy content, camera reviews, stuff like that, or talking tech or hacks and tricks that you can do with your cameras. To do all of that, provide it for you. I just want to produce what you guys definitely want to see, and thank you for everybody joining this live stream. And coming up within a short time, I'm actually going to start requesting and getting some gear to review. and make a comedic style of it with my character. Getting some gear in and borrowed and then bring it back so that I can review more stuff or upcoming stuff or new stuff or some old stuff, lenses and a couple of cameras, to see if they're worth getting, especially if you want to get it after it's been used in a while and save some money as well. I'm looking to tackle that. But I've got nothing else to say. Take that survey if you see it on my channel. Definitely subscribe. That would help a lot because that always helps. But happy Friday. And as always, you can like, share, and make my day if you haven't already subscribed today. Thank you to everyone watching. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Hopefully I'll fix this stuff before I continue next time, right? Oops. And I broke something else. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. See you guys later. Bye-bye.